All right, the 8 people who benefit the most from the arrival of DeMeco Ryans. A lot of people benefit from it. It is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. Subscribe, like. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 p.m. Central on Sports Radio 610, the home of the Texans. We interview players, we interview coaches, we interview ownership, front office, and we're at every game in the parking lot tailgating. And after the game in the real locker room. So subscribe, like. Texans digital game is blowing up, and we're happy to provide you, at least I'm happy to provide you with a pulse of what's going on around here. The 8 biggest beneficiaries of DeMeco Ryans' arrival. Let's get it started with number 8, Jonathan Greenard. We've seen in San Francisco players who maybe aren't as highly thought of when they get into the building, whether it be in the draft, whether it be through trade. We've seen them maximize their potential. Hell, we saw Charles Omenihu go from kind of struggling to get on the field here, neither here nor there, to go into San Francisco to now they're talking about him being an $8 million a year to $9 million a year player. Jonathan Greenard last year, heading into camp, he was one of those guys that you looked at and said, is he going to take the next step? Can he stay healthy? Can he be consistent? Can he be a guy that consistently gets after the quarterback? He did have a good year in Lovie Smith's defense a couple of seasons ago in 2021, but we still have the same questions about Jonathan Greenard. A lot of it has to do with health, but in this scheme, with the way DeMeco Ryans is able to use his players, assuming that Jonathan Greenard does stay healthy, I think we could see Jonathan Greenard benefit in a significant way, and he's going to need to, because this is going to be the final year of his deal, and we're going to have to see if the Texans are going to look at Jonathan Greenard as a long-term guy, or if he's going to be one of those guys who's going to be on another team next year. But Jonathan Greenard definitely benefits from the arrival of DeMeco Ryans, and I'm also interested to see how Matt Burke works with him, because despite his shortcomings, Matt Burke's in Miami as a defensive coordinator, at least statistically, although there was the Adam Gase factor there, kind of just a dumpster fire. A lot of defensive linemen who've worked with him have had a lot of good things to say about him. Number 7, Dameon Pierce. We know DeMeco is a defensive coach, but he's bringing the San Francisco offensive philosophy, which fortunately for Dameon Pierce has provided a lot of success through the run game. The one thing that I think Dameon Pierce benefits most is assuming that the Texans are somewhat going to take San Francisco's philosophy. They're gonna ease the workload of Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce last year had 220 carries through 13 games. His entire 4 seasons at Florida, he had 329. So yes, you like Dameon Pierce, you like the way he runs, but handing him the ball 220 times through 13 games is borderline malpractice. You want him to kind of be your closer. You need multiple skilled running backs. We've seen the way San Francisco invested in the running back position. They drafted Elijah Mitchell in the late rounds. The day after, or a few rounds after, they drafted Trey Sermon in the 3rd. So yeah, it was the day after. Despite the fact they had Elijah Mitchell, they traded, and they had limited draft assets. They traded half a draft for Christian McCaffrey. So I think Dameon Pierce benefits schematically. And if the Texans are going to value the running back position like they did in San Francisco, I think they're going to ease the workload. And you could see Dameon Pierce fresh in the 4th quarter and finishing out games. So Dameon Pierce benefits as well. Number 8, Jonathan Greenard. Number 7, Dameon Pierce. Number 6, Kenyon Green. Schematically, I don't know how he's going to fit into this. And I know that you're going to need to run block. It's going to be a little bit of zone blocking, but Kenyon Green just needed a change of scenery, period. And this system might be able to highlight Kenyon Green's ability to run block. Kenyon Green, the scheme fit is going to be meh. I've seen different people say different things on it, but the reality is Kenyon Green had a rough rookie season, and his strength is run blocking. And DeMeco Ryans bringing that San Francisco, that Shanahan-Kubiak system is only going to benefit Kenyon Green. But one of the most important things for Kenyon Green this year, and this is probably happening right now, he's going to have to transform his body a little bit and get a little bit stronger. You see it from year 1 to year 2. It's not uncommon. We saw a lot of the Texans second-year players. They came to camp and you barely recognized them. I could see us going to mini camp in May and Kenyon Green just looking completely different. but you got to think Kenyon Green is going to benefit from being able to showcase his run blocking ability. And oh, by the way, if I'm Kenyon Green, this is something nobody's talking about. I don't know if I want to wear number 59 anymore. You're not attached to it. You didn't wear it in college. You didn't wear it in high school. DeMeco Ryans rocks 59. There's going to be all these 59 jerseys. Maybe you want to change the mojo up, not look down at 59 after probably the worst year of football of your career. Let's change the number 2. But Kenyon Green definitely benefits from being able to showcase his run blocking and a new philosophy. Number 5, this is someone you probably didn't think would be on this list, but I'm really intrigued to see what Teagan Quitoriano does in this system. You're going to need tight ends. Tight ends are going to need to block. Tight ends are going to have opportunities to make plays. Blocking was actually one of the strengths of Quitoriano, and he also showcased last year a pretty decent ability to catch the ball. 2 touchdowns. Some really nice touchdowns. He had the 50-yard reception against the Colts. The tight end position is really thin. Don't know what they're going to do with O.J. Howard, probably going to be gone. Jordan Akins, I don't know if he fits in this scheme, although you got a lot from him last year. And Brevin Jordan, we talked about Jonathan Greenard having the same question marks heading into camp. Brevin Jordan, I mean, he's fighting for his NFL life at this point. And when it comes to having to block, that's one of the questions about Brevin Jordan, along with a lot of other things. But Quitoriano has shown some things. I think when we talk about body transformation from year 1 to year 2, I don't know that we're even going to recognize Quitoriano. He's going to be working very hard, worked hard to get back in rehab. He could be one of the biggest beneficiaries. He could be one of the sleepers, actually, for next season. Keep an eye on him. Right now, I would say he's the front runner, and I mean that's not saying much given that what they have, but he's the front runner to be a starter, and he could be a very, very, very key contributor in this scheme. So beneficiary number 5, Quitoriano. Number 4, Jalen Pitre. We saw a lot of good things from Jalen Pitre last year. We saw a lot of missed tackles. Now you can chalk that up to being a rookie, but I think even he would tell you can't miss that many tackles. He's going to be closer to the line of scrimmage. They're going to be running a lot of cover 3 with DeMeco Ryans' system. You saw what they did with safeties in San Francisco. Jalen Pitre, he's going to benefit. And I think Jalen Pitre, when it comes to potential Pro Bowlers and stuff like that, I think we could see Jalen Pitre take a huge step this next season. And he's going to be one of the guys. And you heard DeMeco Ryans shout him out in the press conference. Jalen, we got to keep that up. 5 interceptions. Jalen Pitre, another guy who is going to have a massive body transformation. I expect him to put on some weight. And Jalen Pitre, the sky's the limit for him. I actually could have put him higher up on this list than 4. Number 3, Derek Stingley. I bet you thought Derek Stingley would be a little higher up. The reason I didn't put Derek Stingley higher up, you'll see in a second, is because I think just as much as benefiting from DeMeco Ryans' arrival, I think Derek Stingley benefits from Lovie Smith just not being the coach anymore. You could have brought in any other coach, and I think any other coach in the world would have used Derek Stingley different than Lovie Smith did last year. It was borderline malpractice. Matter of fact, when Derek Stingley got hurt, they actually ran more man coverage than they did when he was in. It was a travesty to watch Derek Stingley. If you watched him at DeMeco Ryans' press conference, it looked like he wanted to play right then and there. Derek Stingley benefits significantly, but it's Captain Obvious type of stuff. Like, he's a man corner. He's one of the most impressive DBs in the history of the LSU program. You drafted him to play man. You drafted him to be used like Sauce Gardner was with the Jets. You're going to get to see that now. So as much as he benefits from DeMeco, I think he benefits just as much from Lovie Smith not being here anymore. So if we were saying biggest beneficiaries of Lovie Smith leaving, it's Derek Stingley, but it's so Captain Obvious that you use Stingley the way that DeMeco Ryans is going to use him, that I put him at 3. Number 2, Christian Harris. DeMeco Ryans has done some really good work with Fred Warner. He's done some really good work with other linebackers in San Francisco. He's got a soft spot in his heart for linebackers. Christian Harris, also out of Alabama, freak athlete, running back in high school, played receiver too, committed to LSU as an H-back, ended up going to Alabama, had never played linebacker, but he started every game for Nick Saban at the position. Texans drafted him, was nicked up in camp, came back. We saw some good things from Christian Harris. We saw some growing pains, but we saw some very, very strong playmaking ability. The dude can flat out run. I expect Christian Harris to be near the top of the list when it comes to leading the team in tackles. He's going to be all over the place. He is going to benefit significantly from DeMeco Ryans. So we have Greenard, we have Pierce, we have Kenyon Green, we have Quitoriano, we have Pitre, we have Stingley, we have Harris. You're probably asking yourself, what other player could benefit more than these guys? You're looking at the roster, you're saying, who the hell benefits more from DeMeco Ryans than Christian Harris, Derek Stingley, Jalen Pitre, and all the other guys? It's not even a player. It is Cal McNair. Cal McNair has been one of the most scrutinized owners in sports. Some fair criticism, some, I think, some unfair criticism. And Cal McNair, just like Jed York in San Francisco before he hired Kyle Shanahan, was talked about as someone who was kind of in over his head. There was fan apathy. There was empty parking lots. The message boards were bare. There were people that were automatically down on the Texans no matter what. Not anymore. You can feel the buzz. And it seems like Cal McNair, obviously, time will tell whether this was the great hire or not. But when it comes to benefiting, when it comes to exciting the city, when it comes to silencing the criticism, you get the guy that most people wanted in this coaching cycle. He comes here. He doesn't do it for a money grab. Could have gotten more money in Denver. Your souvenir shops are already capitalizing off of it. I'm sure that ticket sales have gone up a little bit, and people are excited. Cal McNair benefits the most. So Greenard, Pierce, Green, Quitoriano, Pitre, Stingley, Harris, Cal McNair. Did I leave anyone out? Does my list suck? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the Locker Room, #1 source for daily Texans digital content. Listen to Sports Radio 610, 6A to 6P, especially from 10 to 2 Central in the Loop. I'm Landry Locker. I host with Figgy Fig and John Lopez. Keep the comments coming. Keep the subscriptions coming. It's going to be fun. We're 10 weeks, 2 days away from the draft. We're less than 4 weeks away from free agency. There's so much going on. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to follow the Texans. It's a great time to spread the love digitally. Subscribe, like, ride along. No matter what happens, no matter who benefits the most, no matter who benefits the least from DeMeco Ryans, we are all in this together.